guys? It's Crisp. We are here on the first episode of Crisp Conversations. And I don't know if this is like the coolest way to start off this series, but to have you, okay, I got to introduce this guy real quick. LEN is here with us, guys. And he is one of the this is one of the flyest musicians I have heard coming out of South Florida right now. I mean, where are you based coming out of here specifically?
From just Miami.
Just Miami,
yeah,
right?
Carol City, Miami.
Carol City, born and raised.
Born and raised.
Oh my God. And like, you know, I was like, when I was like thinking about how we should start this conversation, I was like, how did me and this guy meet initially? And I was like, damn, that was that time on set for my video, right? And you were helping me with one of my first music videos. This is when I first started working with our good friend B-Wade. And I remember when I met you on that set, B-Wade was just like telling me what, you know, this guy's coming, he's gonna help us out. And I was like super excited because I've heard your music, but then I saw you like setting up and doing production, and I was like, damn, this guy's like, he's like, you know, the whole package. You know, he's not just a musician, but you have this whole creative empire that you've created for yourself. I feel like your direction, Velvet Velour, which is the businesses that you started, the artistic homes. I feel like you've created for like tattoo artists.
Yeah,
so many people. But real quick, can we just like talk about like what's the reason why you even started music here? You know.
So I mean, starting music is just, you know, it's one of those things where it was like it was one of the few things where I can be, you know, vocally expressive. You know, not coming from a family that actually communicated amongst one another as much. So it was, you know, just one of those things where I felt free to express myself, you know, musically. And then it just, you know, through time, gradually shifted into other, you know, creative endeavors.
Right. And like,
yeah,
I've heard some of some of your songs previously, and they have like what I feel like is like this deep, I don't know, like root connection maybe to like how you grew up or like relationships you've had growing up here in Miami. And I think it's what makes it really original. At least when I started hearing some of your music, like Loyal, and like, I was like, damn, this guy just like, he's taking something really from like the soul and bringing it out, you know, for everybody to see right on the table. You know, that's why when I first started hearing your music, I was like, this guy's something else. He's putting like, you know, your whole heart right on your sleeve for everybody to see really with your music. And it's different from, I mean, other musicians I feel out here.
Yeah, they just, you know, a lot of people just create just to create. And when I create, I try, you know, to, you know, be as honest as I can and possible. And I just feel like that's extremely important to do because that's the easiest way of connecting with someone is being honest. You know, feel like as creatives, sometimes we get caught up in wanting to create things that have replay value or just like, you know, but, you know, living within that space of just like, yo, I want to create, you know, a hit, a banger of this. I just, you know, I feel like the easiest way of doing that is just by being honest, because somebody can connect to it. And even if they don't connect to it in a moment, they'll connect to it later as life progresses for them, because they might go through something and they'll go back to that song or go back to that moment and be like, oh, dang, now I really mess with this song, or I really dig this art piece now because I now have a connection to it.
Okay, now I'll ask you a little bit more deeper question. When you think about your music, is there like a specific time in your life or something that you feel like is really like relative to why you know, maybe write a song, or, you know, like the root of the reason maybe behind something? Was there like an experience that shaped some of the music maybe for you?
Yeah, if not all of it, you know, definitely all of it. Maybe not my very, very like earlier work where I was just kind of like putting my feet in music, you know, like more of my SoundCloud era records, you know, when I first started with tFohe, I started as a band. You know, more of those records was more experimental within the concepts of what it was I was talking about. It was more like story driven based off like fantasy, or, you know, it wasn't until about like 2019 when I really started taking music serious as a solo act. And that is when pre-COVID. Yeah, that is when it started becoming extremely personal the decisions that I made when it came to writing the music.
I feel like that happened to a lot of people. Like there was like a transformative phase.
Yeah.
That was like a switching over of the gears that happened in a lot of people's minds.
Yeah.
And we're both parents, right?
Yeah.
So like I feel like, you know, when I had my kid, that was like one of the biggest turnovers in my brain personally, that I was like, damn, like this is gonna shape a lot of the reasons why I do what I do. And I see the way you are with Legacy, and I'm just like, this guy, man, he put not just like his heart out there for his audience, but really because he's trying to, you know, I feel like inspire his kid, you know, to be someone that's not afraid to be yourself. And I really appreciate that about you. And I see the stuff you're doing now with organizations, with other kids, and trying to be there for other charities and programs. And I think that's really inspiring because it kind of all goes back to the root or the reason as to why we even like do what we do to begin with. Like, why do we create? Why do we do why do we make music? Like, why, I don't know, who's it for, and why are we sharing with, you know? But okay, so next thing I kind of wanted to dive into really quick is Velvet Velour and just this whole creative like universe that you have going on in there. And we got Velvet Velour weekend coming up in September. That's gonna be fire. I'm excited. I already see all the promo and all the marketing, and honestly, bringing it back to Churchill's. Let's start with that. Like you bring it back to the place where I feel like it started.
It's definitely like the first place I've ever performed was at Sweat Records, which is connected to Churchill's. You know, that's the first place.
That's the OG, like that's the spot.
So like Churchill used to let like artists, not Churchill's, for Sweat Records used to let musicians, you know, set up their own shows and do mini concerts inside. So my first show ever was in Sweat Records, my first ticketed show, and it was amazing. I think the video is still up on YouTube somewhere. This is back in like 2013, 14.
Oh my God.
You know what I mean? And again, like this was before I want to say I still wasn't taking music fully serious. It was just something just
That's
fun,
the coolest
cool
stuff when you find like a video of your music from when you were like back in the day, and you look at it now and you're like, whoa, like, and if I could tell this person, right? If you could go to like the 12 LEN in that video, right? And talk to him right now, what would you tell him? Be like, bro,
yo, I see that music, I hear that music, and I see those videos, and I be cringing. But
we all do. I mean, I look at my work from like 5 years ago. I'm like, oh my God, nobody look at this. Please,
I wouldn't tell him. I wouldn't tell him to change anything he was doing. You know, I will probably more so tell him like, hey, like, I think you should, you know, taking this a lot more serious as of now when it comes to like business and structure. You get what I'm saying?
Yep.
But I wasn't thinking about that. You know, I was just like, yo, me and my partners, we create music, we making music, we playing together. You feel me? We had Coco was on bass. She was the lead guitar for Lady Musgrave. Like, you know, you had Zach Fogarty, an amazing producer.
You always bring on, and I really wanted to touch on that, you always bring on great features, producers, collaborators, like in everything you do, whether it's with Velvet Velour for like these parties. I remember you when you first started hosting at Soho with like Paper Water and the guys, and you had 50 Carats and Udo and everybody involved. And I think like the way that you've just been such a good producer and connector of a community and bringing these people, you know, some of these people I would never have heard of, honestly, if it wasn't for you. Like, for example, me and Adrian, we were just talking about MILF. We were talking about our girl Sasha, right? I freaking love that girl. I would have never met her if it wasn't through you guys. And now you even got, you know, my homie Seven out of Velvet. And it's just become such a cool place where I feel like everyone comes together. But, you know, with the music too, you create really amazing, like the depth and the detail I think you really put into, you know, when you're coming up with the music and like composing it and everything is really incredible. Is there anything that you or anybody particularly that comes to mind lately that you're like, oh, this is someone that maybe we could hear, someone you're trying to do some more work with in the future? Like
more people I want to do more work with, honestly, truthfully, is just my peers.
I love
like,
that.
You know, like if I could do more work with my peers, if my peers or even myself can figure out a way of creating more freedom for my other creative peers,
right?
I would love to do that so we can work together more. You know, a lot of times as creatives, you know, I mean, just period in life, we have other things that we have to prioritize within life itself, being that we don't want to turn what it is that we do into something that we hate, you know, and you know, if I can create more with my peers, I just want to work with, you know, all of my peers. They are literally my favorite artists. You know what I mean? Like all of them. Junkyard is an amazing painter. I would love to, if he had all the time in the world to dedicate to continue to build these worlds.
I mean, we're working with the homies, you know? That's why you started by the homies. It's like everybody's the homies. We're all like part of the same. And I've just always like I said, I've always enjoyed just seeing how you bring so many unique people together. And then sometimes I'll be thinking like, I need a cool be like muralist or something like that. And I'll see some of the art that you've been putting out in Velvet. And I'm like, this would be an amazing artist for that. And just people that I never would have thought of, like I mentioned Sasha earlier, and just other people. B-Wade is another amazing person we both know. And I just think you've created such a beautiful collective. Is there a specific project that you've done like a collaboration with that you feel like is one of your favorites?
Velour Weekend, of course, always. On the musical side, every project honestly it has its moment of why it would be my favorite, but I don't have one thing that I can deem as my favorite other than the excitement of continuing to build up Velvet Velour and Velvet Velour Weekend and like just what's next, because the whole idea of Velour itself is it's a launch pad for creatives. Is where creatives automatically within their spirit and soul know to go to be able to connect with others. You get what I'm saying? And
so what can we expect from Velvet Velour Weekend? I want to hear the
working with the Burgundy kids is, you know, Burgundy XYZ.
Yes.
You know, this will be the second year they will be on board with Velvet Velour Weekend to highlight, you know, the contemporary or the more so of the art side for Velvet Velour Weekend. They will be covering that. They always do. Last year was the first year us coming together and doing it for Velvet Velour Weekend, and the highlight artists that we collectively sat down and selected was photographers for last year. So we had Spaz, we had Amiris, and we had Aaron J. Jackson. This year, we want to highlight directors. You know,
nice.
So the director we chose it is Uncle Luke. Uncle Luke is a director from down here, and Luke is an amazing videographer director. His catalog go far back all the way to A$AP Rocky, earlier Rated Clan, and the Kodak's first biggest video, you know, Skirt. He is all of the biggest visuals and art direction projects for Denzel. He is a pioneer here in Florida, and a lot of other places when it comes to just like, you know, just the weird universe building, like. He is that, like, you know, he's a whole era within himself, in the Tumblr era and MySpace era of just like.
I always feel like you're always so into like weird alternative, just different people too. Like that's what I appreciate about you. It's like you're never looking for someone that's. I'm not saying you don't work with anyone or everyone, right? But I feel like you do find some really incredible, just unique beings, right? That are just like. This guy makes the weirdest or coolest shit you've ever seen. And I feel like that's really incredible. It's like, you know, you have just such an interesting, like I said, group of people that you always somehow find and bring together for everybody to experience. And I think that's really cool that you're bringing all that again to Velvet Velour Weekend. So I'm excited to be going there. Is there any performances from you or anybody we should be expecting yet?
Yeah, so as of right now, so the concert will be taking place at Churchill's. We had to bring it back there. The first year we did Velvet Velour Weekend, we did it at Gramps because they was closing down, and that's also like it was one of the few iconic spaces that we had for performances. You know, before we had like Avenue D, we had Grand Central, we had the stage. We had Element T, we had Bardot, we had all these different spots. You know, so, and we had Los Rosas, they closed down, but now they're back open.
Right.
So Gramps is also within that, you know, realm of things. So we did the first year of the concert at Gramps. Second year, we did Revolution. So the first year was me and Major Nine, which is also a amazing artist from Miami, icon for sure. Second year was that Revolution with K Camp and myself. This year we wanted to bring it down and bring it back to the crib again.
Yep.
We're gonna do Churchill's, and this year for the concert itself it's called the Blue Hour. So Halo Blue, which is a music collective that I'm developing right now.
Yeah, and you got the jewelry for Halo. I've seen just the
yeah.
whole basically icon of it all,
Yeah,
right? And
yeah.
I love that. It's just incorporated into everything you do.
Yeah, so like this year is gonna be me and Lucas Holmes. So that's gonna be, and a lot of more other homegrown artists and DJs that we're gonna have.
All right, I'm excited. This is gonna be awesome.
And then day two? Day two is the golf tournament with Brian Cunningham and his foundation. And what else? We have one more thing. And then we have Dump Truck that's pending right now with Hi Ricky and K Vaz.
Okay.
So another two.
Ricky's
amazing.
awesome. I love Ricky.
Amazing DJ.
Great
she
DJs.
should definitely get into producing because she got a great ear.
I remember working with her. She was fantastic, and I just think it sounds like it's gonna be an what days again? Just so I can remind everybody.
It's gonna be September 18th through September 20th. So Friday through Saturday.
September 18th through September 20th. All right, so I'll be there.
Always.
All right, guys, you heard it first. September 18th through September 18th through September 20th. You already know Velvet Velour Weekend is going to be here September 18th through September 20th. Be there, get your tickets, and be sure to check out the concert because this is gonna be epic. It's gonna be epic.
It's gonna be amazing.
You guys
and the show is actually gonna be $1 to get in.
Only $1.
Only $1 to get in, and it's donated, driven as well, so you can pay more because the money is going to be going to South Florida Autism Charter.
Seriously, that's just like amazing. Everything you do, I feel like it's just like I said, it always has a reason beyond it, right? And I think that's incredible. Well, thank you again for coming on, and
thank you.
This is an epic first. This is an awesome first episode. Thank you so much.
And I can't wait to come back again.
Yeah, you will be back because I want to talk about the next thing we're doing.
Yeah, we got to. So yeah, all right. Thank you for having me.